All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about booking and handling rejection. So I just I started to write down a whole bunch of stuff. So if you at any time, if anyone has a question, it's okay to ask. Like, just jump in and ask. So this is what I want to talk about. Booking is 1,000 times easier in person when you're at a trunk show. So the best advice I ever got was from Leslie Gillis. When I first started, she said, just always try to book a trunk show from a trunk show, because you're feeding off this really fun, good energy. And I'm telling you that is the key to booking, is being positive, having fun, your tone in your voice if you're on the phone call. So if I could tell you guys, and well, everybody, when I coach girls on my team, it's like, really, really try to goal yourself to book from a trunk show. And there's a few things I like to do when I'm at a trunk show. And I know Sandy's said this many times, and I'm not really I'm not recreating the wheel, as we always say. So like, I'm sure you might have heard this before, but there's a reason. It's because it works. So when I'm setting up, I always ask my hostess, about who's coming. So I know like what kind of people are showing up. And I always ask, like, is there anybody coming that you think would like to host, like when the summer line comes out? So like, usually like they'll he and haw on it, and then they'll think about it. And they usually will give me a name or two. So like, I'll make a mental note. So when I kind of introduce myself and meet everyone as they come in the door, then I kind of already have people that I'm going to kind of plant more seeds with and talk to about hosting. Also, and this is something that I do at every party, for booking and finding new stylists, is I like to watch for the people who just love everything, who keep circling the table, keep trying the same things on. There's always somebody who doesn't have a big budget and they can't decide between like the swag necklace or the totem tassel necklace. They're only going to buy one thing. And I mean, these are the giveaways that these people should host, because you just plant the seed. Hey, like, you can earn that one for free if you host, and we can get your friends together and have a little fun party like this. What do you think? That'd be easy, right? And then kind of walk away. Like, I don't really give a chance to really answer when I first start planting seeds at a trunk show. You just kind of like, yeah, this would be great. Like, we could totally do this with your friends. And then like, I'll start talking to somebody else and like kind of purposely like ignore them a little bit. But that's because like when I'm at a trunk show, I am always like on a trunk show high. I'm always so bubbly and excited, and I don't drink at trunk shows anymore because that was not me. Portia, I saw your face.
Like, what?
You're like, you don't drink at trunk shows?
What?
I don't, because you know what? In the beginning I did, and I would like make mistakes on orders.
Oh, okay. That's a good reason to stop drinking.
I will have one glass of wine or champagne after my group hello and after the first few orders have been placed. And
I always thought that a group hello was way better when it's slurred anyway.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I say everything, like I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the crowd, but normally, and then like I have to pack up, drive home, it's like, I don't want to like be tipsy and then tired, and especially because I have little kids at home. So, okay. So the bottom line really is that you have to be confident in yourself at the core. And Sandy and I are going to do a team meetup March 7th that is going to have a woman there who's going to help all of you get, figure out your confidence and what's holding you back in a way, which she's going to try to work her magic. I would like to at least say that I know I'm a very confident person. I know that like I'm a good stylist, that I can look at someone and pick their colors, and I can pick an outfit for them and, dress them and things like that. And I'm super confident with that. And that's why I have like no problem going to a trunk show and knowing I'm going to sell over 1,000 at every trunk show, because I'm super confident that I can do it. Like, not even a question. I'm also really confident that I'm at least going to walk out of there with one trunk show booked, or like at least one person. Goal is always two. And this is like kind of your attitude and your confidence level is really what's going to help you guys book. Okay. And let's talk about over the phone. I mean, a lot of us probably have the fear of the phone. I know I always have, but I've really been forcing myself to get over that because the thing is we really do offer a really fun time. I was on a call with marketing at home office like 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about like, what do you call a trunk show? Like, do you call it a party, a trunk show? And somebody said a stop and shop, and I absolutely loved that. And this was someone from like the South. I don't know. And I like the stop and shop, and I'm starting to use that now because then it doesn't sound like it's such a big deal. I think that, okay, two big things when you're trying to book. The biggest, objections are, number one, I'm too busy. Number two, and this is something they don't usually say, but you have to know they're thinking it, is that nobody's going to come. So I think that when somebody, so I was coaching a couple gals on my team last week, and when somebody says they're busy, I mean, aren't we all? I mean, we're all busy. So don't say that to your customer, but in the back of my head, it's kind of like, well, duh, we're all busy. So I like to use the feel, felt, found method. So it would go something like this. I just don't have the time in my schedule. And I would say, like, I totally understand how you feel. I have 2 little kids at home, and they're in tons of stuff. I have a lot of my past hostesses have felt that way too. But I found that once you really realize that it's not a whole lot of work for you, and I really take care of, all the invitations and everything, and all you really need to do is put out some wine or mimosas or something, like, it's really not a big chunk of time. Like, I really don't want it to be a big chunk of time for you. So that's kind of the feel, felt, found. So when you feel, like, try and empathize with them, like, yeah, I know, like, we're all so busy. And then I felt like bring in past hostess example. Like, I felt, some of my friends and past hostesses, they always feel that way too, have felt that way. But I found that, and then say, what you want, to try and let them know that it's not such a big deal. So one thing when you're doing this, though, is, and I kind of role played with a couple girls on my team, and this was totally Sandy's idea, but I challenge you, next time you're talking on the phone to a potential hostess to book, to record your conversation. Because what I hear in people is that as soon as someone starts to say, like, no, it's like, you're like, hi, this is Jennifer. And I'm like, oh, you want to book a trunk show? And they're like, no, I'm busy. And it would go like this. Oh, okay. But it's not really that much time. And, I could do this for you. Like, I could totally hear your tone of your voice is so key. Cause you're like, yeah, I'm excited. Then you're like, oh no, they're going to say no. And you just kind of like, and it's so, if you're going to do that, why would they want to book with you? Like, you have to have the attitude that, like, yep, I'm going to get some no's, and that's totally okay, because then I'm going to get to my yeses. But really, like, try to, like, role play even with your coach, your upline, anybody, because you just want to get in a habit of just, like, kind of like, keep your eye on the target, okay? And there's going to be all this stuff going on in between in the conversation. Your target is going to where you want to keep your positive energy focused, and just, they're going to say negative stuff. People like to say no, like, to hosting. I mean, somebody came to me and wanted me to host a party for them for something. Like, I had to, like, I knew they came right back with what their company tells them to say. And I'm like, but anyways, so we all handle objections, and it's how you handle it is how you're going to book. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I really think that those of us that are successful at booking, it's because we're always happy and bubbly and confident. And that's really the key to it. If you go into a call thinking they're going to say no, then they're probably going to say no. So, sorry, I just, okay. So the next thing is nobody's going to come. So when I do the understand, feel, felt, found method, and then sometimes, or at a trunk show, oh, but I don't know who to ask, or blah, blah, blah. Someone's going to say something, or it's in the back of their head. They'll be like, host a trunk show. Okay, but like, no one's going to come. That is every hostess's biggest fear, is nobody's going to come. So sometimes I'll just like put it out there without them even having to say anything. I'll just say, I found that like, it's really not that much of work. And guess what? I have never had a show where nobody comes. So just don't even worry about that. I have a method that I use with my hostesses to make sure we get, a good amount of people there. And even if like 4 people come, that's great, because then we're going to have a really fun time. So just take everything you can and keep it as positive as possible. I think Sandy, go.
So I want to just replay what you said. And here's what I'm hearing what you did. What you did there is you actually tried to overcome the objection before it even came out.
Yeah.
So Jennifer is astute enough and experienced enough and has been in that situation enough to know that that is a common objection. That's probably the most common objection. So one way that she handles that objection is to actually answer it before it has even come up. Take it out of that person's radar as something to worry about. That's it. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep. So I reached out to my friend Whitney Fields, and she just texted me back like right now. I said, hey, give me your top tips on handling objections. She wrote, number 1, she asked, when's a good time might be for me to check back in with you? I completely understand. Let's look at your calendar and let's plan for when it would work. It's another way. Like she said, she goes for the no. She keeps bugging people basically till she gets the no. And I don't personally do that. I can kind of tell personally, like I can tell who's going to host for me eventually and who won't. But if you want to, try that strategy. See how far you can go. Saying that everyone is busy, but don't overthink a trunk show. It's a 2-hour girls' night or afternoon. Everyone needs a little time to unwind. Plus, I help with all the details, so it's less work for them and more fun, which is what we talked about in the feel, felt, found method. I think the biggest objections is people are busy and they're worried nobody's going to come. And if you just reassure them that, you really are going to do everything and you're in touch, and then it comes to hostess coaching. You have to hostess coach. So let me just throw this out there now. Hey, Deanna, saw you. Who has question? Okay, here's one. I want you guys to ask me how I would overcome any objection that you hear a lot. There is one that I hear very commonly, and I usually just walk away. I don't want to try, and I don't do parties. I just shop. Now, I don't know if Sandy, maybe you have a way to get around that, but that when someone's like, I'm just not a hostess, I'm never going to do it. They'll be like, no, like I'll go to my friends and I'll shop, but like, I'm not going to host. I say, that's cool. Fine.
I just heard that one during the Blitz. I just heard someone say that.
Yeah. So that's the one where I feel like that's really the no to me that I won't fight against, because I just don't want to, I don't know.
Does
What do you think, Sandy?
Has anybody else encountered this and done something successfully or had some way to deal with it?
They're like, I just want to support, and I'll just support you and I'll shop, and they never want to host.
I'm now single pa din ako.
Now, why does it tell me that my meeting is going to end in 10 minutes when I know we just started it like at 8:30?
I don't know. I saw that too.
Whatever. We might have to jump on again. Actually, I do ask questions. When I hear any kind of an objection, I learned this long ago in my sales career that really objections are when somebody actually either has a misconception or misunderstanding of what you're saying, or they really actually have more questions, or they're anxious or nervous about something, but they're kind of embarrassed and don't want to come out and say it. There's often a smoke screen. And because I don't want to assume, right? You never make any assumptions in life, right? But then again, of course, like I'm even reading the 4 agreements right now. It's actually one of the agreements is don't assume. So I don't like to assume. And I also like to be a student of my business. And I feel like the more information that I can gather from people, the better I can be at my business. So when somebody says something, either that I don't know how to overcome, or I don't know enough, and I don't know the answer to it, I don't have enough information, I just ask why. I literally say, okay, that's not the first time I've heard it, and I'm sure it won't be the last. And because this is my full-time business and it's really important to me, I would love to hear why it is you feel that way. Is there something about hosting that gives you it has given you a bad feeling? Have you had a bad experience? Is there something, and please, I'm a big girl. I can handle it. Is there something that happened tonight that you found distasteful? Because it's important for me to actually take this back and change what I'm doing if it's not working for you. And then I zip my mouth and I stare them down. With a smile.
And then you're going to hear, and then they're going to say, I'm too busy.
Right. So but this is it. For me, overcoming objections is like peeling back the layers of an onion, right? The person gives you what they think is the easiest one for you to get over. They think that they're going to knock you down. But if you ask, oh, well, and you do the feel, felt, found, which is my primary way. It's so funny. So many people, I totally get how you feel. So many of my past hostesses actually felt the same way. And then what they found is that because I'm able to do this, that, and the other for them, it was actually so easy. The best, most fun thing that they ever hosted without really lifting a finger. So let's look at your calendar. I mean, are you telling me there's 90-minute or 2-hour window that you don't want to just kick back and have some girl time with your girlfriends? And if they say, well, it's that I don't know who to invite. I mean, it's like peeling back the layers. Sometimes, okay, so here's the truth is that the person who really wants to host is going to keep giving you all of her anxieties and objections until you make her feel like, okay, I got nothing to lose. But the ones that are really, truly not going to give in and not interested in hosting at all, they shut you down right away. There's not this going back and forth, in my opinion. They just you know what? I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm not your girl.
Yeah.
And they will just downright tell you, you're awesome. I love you. I've had a great time. And I really love what you chose with me and helped me with, but I am not your girl. But if my friends host, I promise I'll come. And that's it. Then you can just move on. But I can't take that kind of a no right at the beginning without just finding out, because there might have been something that I did and that I should work on. Back to you, Jennifer.
So make them feel bad. Did I do something wrong tonight that has totally turned you off to the idea of hosting? Make that actually is kind of good because it puts them on the spot. I'm going to totally use that.
But I don't do that with the intention of making people feel bad. I mean, I'm sure that that's a secondary benefit, I guess, but I do it because I really do want to find out, can I do better?
No, but it is and especially for someone like me who is making this my full-time business, that is a totally legitimate thing to say, I think. So I'm going to that's a new one. See, you can never get enough hostess coaching, or any coaching in this industry or any job. You cannot get enough training. And even though I feel like I've heard a lot of this stuff before, that's new to me. That's dang, that's what I'm going to use now. Cause I'm so tired of those people who are I just don't host.
Does anybody have a common objection that you want Jennifer to take a crack at and help you with?
Come on, Val. I see you. She turned her head.
Does anybody have I've had so many.
I have one that Sandy and I just talked about, and it was new to me, but it was talking about, my friends already have stylists that they're shopping with or already know someone that's a stylist. And I was like, oh, you do? Okay.
You know what's funny? At my trunk show up in the North Bay, there was a new stylist from Sarah Loftus's team who came to my trunk show, decked out. And I kind of was like, why is she here? I was like, you know what? In the end, I was like, I hope she learned something. It was awkward, but I still book trunk shows, even though she's a stylist who lives in that neighborhood. Because what I will say is that's cool. Actually I get a lot of business from people who have friends that are stylists. And the thing is I say, I always bring up do they do it full time? I mean, there's tons of stylists. I'm like, I always say, there's tons of stylists everywhere, but I really this is my job. This is what I love to do. And so I'm always doing trunk shows. I always have almost the entire line to show off. And, I try to make them think that maybe this isn't coming out right, but like my goal is to let them know that I'm for real. You know, I kind of drop in, like I have a good sized team. I you know, like I always kind of put in my group below that I've won incentive trips. Now I know not you guys haven't, no offense, but like let them know that like you take this for real, because I think there are a lot of stylists that don't. And just because, you know, someone has a best friend who does it doesn't mean they have to shop from them all the time. You just be you. Tell them, you know, hey, that's cool, you know, but I'm here if you ever want to host too. You know, like I just keep it like that. You can't force someone to do anything. I think one thing I learned with Stella and Dot about a year and a half ago was that our philosophy is that the customer gets to choose who they want to shop from. It's always up to the customer, and all you can do is be yourself. And when someone wants to sign up to be a stylist, they need to sign up under who they want to sign up under. You know, you can't force that either. And for whatever benefit it might be for you, like if someone wants to sign up under their friend, that's good, because then they're going to more likely stay longer and do better because they're comfortable with their sponsors. So same thing with the sales side, you know, just be yourself. Be like, it's totally cool. Like I do like 4 trunk shows a month, and I'm always, you know, getting the new product, and I'm so excited because there's stuff coming out in 4 weeks now. So, you know, not everybody has the full like new line. So if you ever want to see the new stuff, you know, and your friend doesn't have it, you can also call me, you know? So, I mean, you can just kind of throw that out there. I don't know, Sandy, what do you say?
I think you're right. I think what I told Portia is that, that there's actually a lot of people who say that they have stylists when those stylists aren't even active anymore.
Right.
They're not even doing it anymore. And so I usually go, oh, you know, if somebody says, oh, I already have a friend who's a stylist, I go, oh, really? That's so fantastic. Who's your friend? I've been in this for so long, I think I know everybody here. And then they tell me, and I usually, you know, but what I really love is when they go, well, you know, she's actually like a mom at my school that, gosh, what's her name?
Or they say that about hosting. They say that about hosting. Like, oh, but I just went to a show. I'm like, really? How long ago? Like 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah, we've had 8 product launches since then. So
did you know that we carry handbags now and like custom engravables? No, that's still in Dot. Oh yeah.
Bags.
So,
Well, we have to put back in. It says less than a minute. So we have to, what happens next?
Well, I could probably just create we should probably just wrap it up. I don't know how this happened because I didn't log in till like 8:29, and we're supposed to have, I don't know how this happened. Does anybody know? Is it because everybody else joined at a certain time?
We're going to book a trunk show. Just keep your eye on the prize booking and stay positive when you're on the phone. Just be aware of your tone of voice. So that's my best advice for handling any objection. There's a lot of things you can say. You can reach out to me on Messenger or whatever. I have no problem talking to anybody. My team chats are every other Tuesday. So
we'll be doing this again probably in another 2 weeks. I'll probably host one. And, you know, this way we'll just keep working and massaging this muscle. And it's just like anything else. I was actually thinking about Hazel and Portia. I know I'm going to get it cut off, but I was thinking